Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. So today you guys, we're going to be outside. We're going to be tackling some of my outdoor projects. So I have several things on the list today that I need to get done. I have some flowers that I need to plant in my long garden bed that's along my fence. I want to do like a border of some petunias and lemon coral. So I got some plants. I probably don't even have enough, but I'm going to try to just go ahead and get started and see how many more I need. Okay guys, so before we get started, I want to share with you a small plant haul. So these are some of the goodies that I picked up from Home Depot. So we're going to be doing a lemon coral sedum border. So I have picked up like 12 of these plants. These are perennials in my gardening zone. I garden in a zone 9B. So I'm in Houston, Texas. So for you guys, it may not, if you're in I would say a lower gardening zone, then these will probably be an annual for you. But in my gardening zone, they do come back every year. I also picked up a centrella plant. This is the one that supposedly repels mosquitoes, so I picked one of those up. Then I also picked up 2 flats of petunias. Now the petunias don't have a name on them. I think you get like a total of 12 or 18 for like $13.88. So I end up getting 2 flats of these, and then we're going to put those in between the lemon coral sedum. I think that's going to look really pretty. Then I also picked up 2 of these tick seed perennial shrubs. These are really nice. And then I also picked up this gorgeous hydrangea, y'all. This is so pretty. So like I told y'all earlier when I went my front porch, the ones on my front porch has been doing really good so far. So I'm going to keep this on my patio, and I think that it should do okay on the back patio. I want to share with you these planters. These planters I planted up about maybe a month or so ago, and I just planted them up with some coleus. I also have these really pretty Petunia Royal Velvet, I think these are called. Those are the proven winner brands. I absolutely love that deep dark purple. Then of course I have some ivy. I also have my Jupiter topiaries in there as well. And then I also underplanted some beautiful, I think this is called Mexican marigolds, which is really pretty. And you don't even have to deadhead those. It just looks amazing. And then also over here, I have this Rose of Sharon Standard. I actually purchased this from fastgrowingtrees.com, which I absolutely love this. And she is full of buzz, y'all. So she's going to be bursting with beautiful blooms pretty soon. And then I kind of kept all of them uniform so that I could add a pop of color here on the patio. If y'all remember, I did have these 3 planters over in my raised bed area, but I moved them because we're getting ready to overhaul that area. So I need to put those planters somewhere. So I decided to put it on my patio. So what I did was I went ahead and laid out all of the lemon coral that I had just to see how much I would need. And obviously when I got all the way down to the end of my flower bed, I probably need about a good 3 more. So I'm gonna have to go back to Home Depot and get 3 more. But yeah, so these I think get about 10 feet wide or 10 inches wide. So, and they stay mounded. So it's a sedum, so it doesn't need a lot of water. It does really, like I said, it performs well. So I'm just gonna be using 3 things to plant this border. I'm gonna be using my Black Cow compost, because I do have some compost that I started by myself or whatever that I started during the winter, but it's not ready yet. So I love using the Black Cow because my soil is clay, and some areas of some parts of my yard is good because I have amended those areas, and then some parts it still has that really thick clay soil. So I try to add a little bit of compost in between my plantings of my new plants just so it can give that amendment to the soil. I'm also going to be using some biotone because it helps with root growth for the plant. And I'm just going to be using this little tool. I don't know what this is called, but I'm using this to dig a little hole because the ground is pretty soft because it did rain a few days ago, so it's not that hard to dig. Only problem I ran into with planting my border up is that years ago I put some landscape fabric down trying to suppress the weeds. As you can see, the weeds are kind of rampant in this bed, especially since I added that cedar mulch. It just kind of like went haywire. So I have to still, like when I'm digging, I have to be careful because some areas still have that landscape fabric there. So I have to like take the scissors and stuff and just cut that out and, you know, kind of open up it to get the plant planted. But nonetheless, we're getting it done, and I'm gonna try to go ahead and pull these weeds as I go. Y'all, these weeds are so annoying. I try to keep on top of them, but life gets busy because I do work full time and do YouTube, so I really don't have time to come out here every day and pull weeds. So it looks a mess now, but I'm gonna try to go through and try to pull as much as I can as I go and see if I can get see how much I can get done. My goal for this bed, my yard is not that big, so for me, I like to use my what do you call it, vertical space, or my horizontal space along my fence, just to kind of make my own kind of garden, mini garden. That way I can have some beautiful flowers and everything, and have everything looking nice. I'm trying to have this bed filled up with plants. I think the more plants I have in here, the less weeds I'll have. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. So I'm gonna try to get this border planted. Now it is like, I started this about 6 o'clock at night, y'all, because it was so nice outside. The weather was like 70 degrees. It was quiet, and I just wanted to come out here and just try to get as much as I can done. And then whatever I don't get done, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and just finish it up tomorrow. Now, when I'm out in the garden, I always have to have on my garden boots. I have my gloves on, and then usually I have a hat on too. But today, since it's like a overcast day, I didn't really need to put on the hat. But I always have my boots on, y'all, because if y'all been following me for a while, y'all know that I had a problem with snakes in my yard, frogs in my yard, and I don't want nothing coming out trying to bite my toes and get anything on me. So I always have to have my boots on. Sometimes I may not have the boots on if I forget to put them on, if I'm just rushing, but 90% of the time I try to have some type of garden boots on out here in my yard. Luckily this year, I think I only saw like one baby garter snake so far, and I try to put some snake repellent out, just so to try to keep them away from my garden. But so I make sure you protect yourself when you're out here in these garden streets, honey, because if you live in the South, there's all kind of critters or whatever be crawling around inside of these beds. So I just don't want nothing jumping out and trying to bite me, or or whatever. So I do apologize for the angle, y'all. It's kind of hard to film, position this camera. My yard is like goes on the slope, so it's kind of, I got y'all propped up on a brick or something over there. So bear with me if the angle of this camera is not good. So while I'm planting those sedum, I decided to go ahead and plant this plant here. This is called a tick seed, and to me it's like a shrub, but it looks like little sunflowers to me. So I decided to buy two of these. These get pretty big. I think they said it gets between 6 and 10 feet tall, which is tall. So I'm gonna have to keep it pruned because I really don't want it to be bigger than my little lollipop Jupiters that I got in front, which I need to fix because they kind of look like they leaning, y'all, but I don't know. But nonetheless, I'll just have to fix it later. It has a stick on it, but they still look like they kind of leaning to me. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to kind of prop those up. But I end up purchasing two of these tick seeds. I love that pop of yellow. In my garden, it may look like a lot of green, but I do have a lot of perennials because I really need plants that's gonna give me the most bang for my buck. And then also, because being in the Houston area, it gets so hot down here. So I really need plants that's gonna survive and actually do their own thing without me having to baby them. So a lot of the plants that I have planted along this border are perennials, and then a lot of them do flower. They just don't have any flowers yet because I think a lot of my stuff is kind of mainly like they flower during the summertime. Like I have some Rose of Sharon. I also have some I have a peach tree. I have a lot of different little plants in there that actually do flower. I have some thallus that I have in there as well. And then I also have my grasses, which I absolutely love. So it's just a lot right now because it's spring. A lot of things are not in flowering mode yet. And then I do have a lot of purple type flowers, purple and blue. Purple is my favorite color. So you can see I kind of tend towards that color all the time in the garden. So I have a lot of purple flowering plants in my garden along with the green. So yeah, so we're gonna get these planted up and see if we can finish out this border before it starts to get dark, y'all. So I planted this salvia here a few months ago. This is the Proven Winners Deep Purple salvia. This is an annual, but I read on the reviews, people that live in my garden is on 9B says theirs come back every year. So I'm hoping that mine will come back. But this thing has gotten huge since I planted it. So I got this one from Home Depot. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has beautiful purple flowers on there, or purple calyx, I guess you would call it, on this green foliage, which is pretty. And this thing has a lot of bees on it, a lot of pollinators. So I absolutely love that plant. So I actually have two of them in there. I probably need to deadhead it because I had planted it about maybe 2 months ago, and it's already have gotten a lot of growth on it. And then I also have this shrub here. This is called an Aphrodite, I think it is. I got this from my local garden center. This one gets pretty big too. So I couldn't find, as you can see on the other side of my garden bed, I have some Rose of Sharon, which gets like 10 feet tall. And I couldn't find any of those other Rose of Sharon purple pillar plants. So I decided just to add this Aphrodite here because this one's gonna fill in this space really nicely. I think this one gets pretty tall too, like up to 10 feet tall too, really big. So yeah, so that's what I got going on this side. Then I also have this really pretty blooming phallus that's right there to the right side. It blooms really, really pretty, beautiful yellow flowers. And when I tell you that plant blooms from spring, or I will say late summer, all the way up until December, it has a long bloom time and it's absolutely gorgeous. When everything else is dying off, that plant is still producing beautiful yellow flowers. So I absolutely love it. Also have these jasmine. I think this is called New Orleans something or other that I got from Home Depot. So I'm gonna go ahead and underplant those underneath my Forester pansy tree. Hey y'all, so this is the next day. So yesterday I started to plant up my border of lemon coral sedum. And so I didn't have enough time because I really just tried to, I didn't have enough time to finish yesterday because I came out there maybe about 6 o'clock because it was actually so nice outside. I think it was like maybe 70 degrees. So it was really nice and cool. So I went ahead and tried to plant up as much as I can. So today is the next day. So we're gonna go ahead and finish planting up that border. I actually ran out of plants yesterday. If I had all of the plants, I probably would have went ahead and just finished it out. But I ran out of the sedum. I only had like I bought 12, so I went and bought 3 more from Home Depot. These plants are by Proven Winners. They're the Proven Winners brand, so hopefully you can find these at your local garden center. Or I know for a fact, I think you can get these from Proven Winners website. If you go to provenwinners.com, a lot of their stuff, a lot of their plants or their annuals, you can get them online. So if you can't get them at your local garden center. So yeah, so let's go out there, y'all, and finish completing our border. Okay, you guys, so it is, I think, about 11:30 in the morning, so it's still nice and cool outside. So this is what we planted up yesterday, and it looks really, really nice. So I just need to put a few more pieces over here on this side of the border, and then I'm going to try to also pull some of those weeds as well. And then after that, we can go ahead and plant up the petunias in between the sedum. I think that's going to look really pretty. Okay, after planting those last 2 plants, I had to go in the house and change my sweater, y'all, and get a t-shirt on because it was starting to warm up. Even though it's only like 72, it still was getting hot to me. So I had to go and take that sweater off and pull this hair back so we can go ahead and get the rest of this planted. Now, these petunias, I don't know how well they're going to do because when I showed y'all the video clip of these petunias in the beginning of the video, those were like that clip was from 2 weeks ago. So they've been sitting out on my patio since then, and they are looking kind of leggy. They almost look like they're trying to dat child. but we're gonna still plant them anyway and see how they do. I think they need to be in some more sun because my patio is shaded, and I think they need some more water. So I'm gonna try to take the best looking ones out of this container and plant those up, and then we'll go from there. If they don't survive, y'all, we're just gonna have to replant something else there. But I'm hoping that these survive, and I think they just need to have some water, maybe in a little bit more sun, and they'll perk right up. But yeah. So when I went back and got those sedums, I found this really pretty calla lily at Home Depot as well. This is so pretty. It has like a pink and purpley color blooms on it. So pretty. But I think it was $34, y'all, for this plant. You know, plants are just expensive, just like everything else, child. Everything is just so expensive now. So I try to get the biggest bang for my buck. So this pot, even though they have it in this pot, I'm going to plant it in the ground because it is a perennial. And as you can see, it actually has a natural divide in the center. So I'm going to split it down the middle and actually make two plants out of it, and then plant both of them on the either side of my that's a blue point juniper. I had that shrub there for a couple of years. I actually had it behind my shed. It wasn't getting enough sun, so I moved it over here. I'm trying to rehab that shrub, so it's tending to get some little bit more growth on it. So yeah, I know it's gonna fill out, but for now I'm gonna put these calla lilies behind it just to add a little pop of color on this end. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant up these two shrubs here. These are called jasmine, and I think the variety is called Maid of Orleans. So have really beautiful, pretty white blooms. It takes part sun, so I thought it would be perfect to plant underneath my Forester redbud tree. So I'm trying to find something to kind of camouflage that AT&T pole. So I can't change that. That pole actually I think services the whole neighborhood for whatever reason. It's been in my yard when I when I bought this house. So I can't remove that thing. So all I can do is try to camouflage it. So I'm gonna try to plant these here, and I think these get pretty big. I think it said that on the tag. I think it said between 5 and 6 feet tall. So obviously I'll keep it pruned down, but at least it'll grow big enough to kind of camouflage this pole that's here. And these do take part sun, so that'll be actually perfect to plant underneath this tree. Back here in this section still has a lot of that hard clay soil, so I have to put a little bit of muscle in it to try to dig deep down in here because it's very hard, very, like I said, still has a lot of that clay. So I'm trying to dig a big enough hole just to get this plant planted, and then that's why I always try to put a little compost in with my plants just so that it can help with the health of the overall soil that I have in my yard. Okay, you guys, so we are done planting up the plants that we need to be planted, that needed to be planted. I'm just going to take my watering hose and I'm just going to water everything in. I always like to water everything just to make sure that everything gets a nice drink. Especially those petunias, 'cause like I said, they on the struggle bus, y'all. So I'm trying to make sure they survive. So yeah, so we still need to do the other side of this border because it wraps all the way around behind my shed and then on the other side of the shed. So I still need to do and figure out what I'm going to plant on that side. I know some of y'all had suggested to plant some cabbage or things like that in the back of that. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do back there. But yeah, because I started to mulch this side, but I still have to do the other side and get some planting done over there too. So yeah, and then we also going to be overhauling. I have all my raised beds behind me, and I'm going to be redoing that section real soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be putting in some metal raised beds, and then we're going to be growing some corn. I want to grow some green beans. I also want to grow some peppers and all that stuff. My tomatoes, y'all, are doing so good. So I'm going to give y'all an update in the next video so y'all can kind of see how everything is doing. But yeah, I'm so excited for this growing season, y'all, because I have accomplished a lot, and I hope this motivates y'all to get out in your gardens and tackle some of those things and just to get to growing. Even if you don't have a yard or if you have a balcony, you always can start growing. You can always grow things in towers and flower pots and just start somewhere, and then I'm telling you, it'll flourish. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. Okay, you guys, so I got my border done and I'm absolutely loving how it looks. Now the petunias that I planted, they do look a little leggy and they do look a little they look terrible, but hopefully they'll bounce back. Most plants are resilient. You just got to give them a little bit of time and then they'll kind of bounce back. These are annuals. The petunias are annual, so obviously I have to plant those up every year and change them out. But that's kind of what I wanted to do with that border. I wanted the lemon coral sedum to be like my perennial. I won't have to plant that, and then every year I'll just go in and change those annuals out and plant something else where those petunias at every year. So that's my goal. But if those petunias don't survive, then I'll just, uproot them and plant something else there. But I'm gonna give them a little bit of time and see how they do. Thank y'all again for stopping by and watching my video. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.